Like, subscribe, and share the shit out of this. Spread it like herpes. Speaking of herpes, I'm a medical doctor. If you want me to be your doctor, click the link in the description box. Click the consult option, which is the top option. I can order you blood work. I can read your blood work. I can treat you as a normal HRT clinic would treat you. I also do coaching. My Apex Coaching is the business that Dr. Krita Dodson and I co-own, that we will do your nutrition, your training programming. I will handle all your medical stuff. It's the only place where you can get medical care and coaching in one place, and you have two doctors. It's the best deal in town. You can't beat it. And right now we have it set up so that there's financing options, so you only have to make monthly payments. You will love it. Get started immediately. Now, on with the show. You're watching Dr. Todd Lee TV, where theoretically you could learn a bunch of cool shit. Warning! This is for entertainment purposes only. Do not take this seriously. This is not medical advice. Although I'm a doctor, I'm not your doctor yet. If you want me to be your doctor, click the link in the description box. But otherwise, this is just for fun, kids. Don't do this at home. All right. How to grow arms. Now, I know what you're wondering. Why the fuck am I going to take advice from Todd the T-Rex Lee about how to grow arms? This bitch has no arms at all. Well, let me tell you. It's the people that have no genetics and are the ones who learn the science the most. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, science? Why the fuck would I want to know the right way to train when I could just do barbell curls and do skull crushers? And that will give me huge arms because all the guys with big arms, that's what they do. It's like, no, that's genetically gifted people can grow no matter what they do. And it's not that those are bad exercises. They aren't optimal exercises. So I'm going to show you a really simple fucking trick. And now I want to preface this with, a lot of people were complaining that I wasn't doing this in a gym. Now, I don't know if these people have ever been to a gym, but a gym is loud as fuck. You can't hear anything. I could clip one of those stupid lapel mics up and you might hear me, but you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise. Furthermore, I don't have like some slave that I can have follow me around with a camera. I would have to pay a videographer like 40 grand a year to go around and film me and shit so I can make a video that I have on a YouTube channel that isn't monetized. Because if I was to monetize this, then it would get canceled like the last one. I monetized it, made no money, and then had it canceled like 3 days later. And I lost 100% of my income because all my income comes from consults and from coaching. So after the channel gets big enough and after I have enough coaching and consult income coming in, then I can afford to hire a full-time videographer and they can follow me around and I can rent a gym and then do a video series on every single exercise in a quiet gym with the proper mics and the proper lightings. But until then, I've got some shit show that I put together for you guys. That's why this video took so long. Took 100 times more effort than the other videos did because I had to get content of me actually demonstrating the exercises. However, it's still not going to be as useful as me doing without the weights because I'm able to talk to you and show you what I'm talking about. So here you go. All right. So you probably want to see my face. I don't know why, but it's a popular thing that humans want. All right. So, and now you can't see my arms. Fucking hell. All right. There you go. This is where my arms are naturally. Now, some people have arms in here, and some people can supinate their wrist fully. I cannot. This is me supinated. So the idea of doing a barbell curl, do I have a weapon I can? Oh, well, you know, there's an axe right there. All right. So for me to properly curl this axe, notice how my elbows are coming out to my sides. This is very uncomfortable. I have to hold it basically like this. Like it's not in my hand right. It's not like this. It's like this. This is how Dorian tore his bicep, by doing this bullshit. This doesn't work. Now, Mike Van Wyck will tell you you can lean forward and curl like this, and it gets your arms in position. that they're not out to your side, they're out in front of you. But the problem is your hand is still not supinated fully. So to fully supinate, I have to do this. Now notice my hand is not lined up with my elbow and my shoulder because they're not superimposed on the camera. They're out here. This is bad. No bueno. This is not. So that same thing holds true for the skull crusher. If I was to kneel down here, notice when I do this, my arms are not going like this, like they would if I was holding dumbbells. My wrists don't pronate fully enough to do this, like a mantis strike. My elbows are still coming out. That my arms are going to do this. So this is stupid. You should use dumbbells for that, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Hold on. Let me just go back to what I was saying before. So this is where my arms naturally hang. So if I had a dumbbell in my hand, doing this is not against gravity. This is against gravity. This allows me to fight gravity directly. My hand is superimposed over my shoulder. It's a straight line. My hand is not outside or inside my shoulder. This hits both heads of the bicep correctly in the power position. Why? Because from the side, this is where there's a 90-degree angle between the line of force. Let me use this mic here. This is the line of force with this mic cable, right? Oh, that's confusing because there's two mic cables. Okay, here we go. This is the line of force, this mic cable. So as I come down, and I can't really show you this, can I? Hold on, maybe I can. As I come down, the line of force is going to like a 135-degree angle, and eventually, as my arm's straight, it's like there's no tension at all at the bottom. Then there's a 90-degree line of force here, that's maximum tension. As I come up all the way to the top, the line of force is now a 45-degree angle, so we get about half tension. So that's why this is the power position with a dumbbell, is because at the 50% mark, where the muscle's pretty much the strongest, that's where you're going to get the most tension. Then it gets lighter at the top where the muscle's the weakest. And at the bottom, where the muscle, where the hypertrophy is greatest, at the stretch position, there's no tension. This makes dumbbells not that good. Dumbbells are not that good. Now, a lot of you are thinking, wait a minute, if you hang over something and you support yourself, then you're going to be closer to the contraction position. Or if you, again, I got to do with this fucking camera thing, all the way, then that's a little bit better. But I got a solution for you. It's called cables. Cables allow you to control the line of force no matter what. So out here, this is the bicep in its most stretch position, right here. And this is the way you would curl to get biceps in the most stretch position. It's best to have a back support. Or you could stagger stance, basically split your leg stance. But this is the best way to get biceps. Check it out. This is the lengthened position. This is the tricep in the shortened position. It's the same thing. If I'm going to do one arm at a time, I can do this or this. This for curl, this for tricep. Now I could do a neutral grip and do a hammer curl and get the brachialis and biceps equally and brachioradialis, and this and get all three heads of the tricep evenly. This might work a little bit more lateral head, or it might work more medial head, depending on how you hit it. Now, a lot of people will say you do extended for triceps to get the lateral head. You stretch the tricep in the lateral head in this position, and this is the lengthened position for the tricep. This is also the shortened position for the bicep. So down here, the biceps are training their lengthened position, and the triceps are training their shortened position. Up here, your biceps are training in your shortened position, and the biceps and the triceps in the lengthened position. So a simple and easy way of doing it, if you were going to do biceps, tricep, would go triceps down here, then triceps up here, maybe 3 sets down here, 3 sets up here, and then you turn and do cable curls up here, bring it back down, and then turn around and have your back to the machine and curl lengthenwise. And of course, you do all the weak side, maybe all left side, then all right side. Then you go back to left side, then right side. Maybe a minute in between. So you do 10 slow reps here, 10 to 15 slow reps here. Should take about 60 seconds. Rest 60 seconds. 10 to 15 slow reps here. Rest 60 seconds. It has now been 3 minutes. This muscle's ready to go again. That way you don't have to wait 3 minutes between sets. Once you've done all of that, there's also the lengthened position for the tricep. So you do shortened, then lengthened. Then the other muscle group, shortened, then lengthened. Or another way of doing it is you could go all right side and then all left side. So, you could go bicep, shortened, bicep shortened, tricep shortened, move the thing down, bicep lengthened, tricep lengthened. It's that simple. And then you do the other arm. Then you go back. So like, for instance, and that didn't make any sense, did it? So I would go bicep shortened, tricep shortened, bicep shortened, tricep shortened, bicep shortened, tricep shortened. Then move the thing down, bicep lengthened, tricep lengthened, bicep lengthened, tricep lengthened, bicep lengthened, tricep lengthened. Your right arm is done. Now you do the left arm. Do the exact same thing. Move the peg up to the thing up to the top. Do shorten tricep, shorten bicep. You can support your arm like this. Shorten tricep, shorten bicep. That's it. 6 sets. That's 6 sets of biceps, 6 sets of triceps. You could either superset bicep tricep on one arm, but in order to keep the short rest periods appropriate, the whole point of the superset, you would do all 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 sets on the right arm before you ever start your left arm. That's how you would get it done the most efficient way. It sounds crazy, but this would work. And you're like, but that's not enough for biceps, triceps. Yes, it is. But you would have to do it 3 times a week. You'd have to do it every 48 hours, basically. So you'd do it after push, after pull, and then again before legs. So you could break it up maybe like this. Go push, pull, legs, off, pull, push, legs. So on the push, you do all 6 sets of triceps at the end. Then after the pull, you do all 6 sets of bicep at the end. And then before legs, you do all 6 sets of triceps again before legs. Then you're off. Now we switch it. So it's pull first. We get biceps and then triceps and then biceps. So in an 8-day period, you've worked your triceps 3 times and you worked your biceps 3 times. If you did push, pull, legs, you'd hit your triceps 4 times and your biceps only twice. So that's a tricep focused only. To get bicep focused, you go pull, push, bis and legs, off, pull, push, bis and legs, off. Now keep in mind, we're getting the biceps or the triceps once per week first because it's before legs. If you really want to prioritize them, you would do the arm and leg combination first. So you would go whichever arm you're doing plus legs, then the other push, then pull, for instance. So biceps, legs, then push and triceps, and then back and biceps, off. And then you would go triceps and legs, back and biceps, push and triceps, off. Or again, like I said, you could do just biceps. Like I only need biceps and my triceps are great, my biceps suck. You would go legs and biceps and legs, push, back and biceps, off. Biceps and legs, push, pull, off. That you do the opposite for triceps. It'd be triceps and legs, pull, push, off. Triceps and legs, pull, push, off. See, It really is that simple. And when you do it this simply, when you're using, and okay, you're like, I fucking hate cables. I'll never use cable. No, no, no. It's like, okay, fine. So to get this, the contraction position with dumbbells, you do kickbacks. That's your contraction position. To get your contraction position for biceps, you put them in front of you, put them on a preacher bench, and do a Scott curl. That's your contraction for biceps. For stretch for biceps, you do an incline curl. That's what Tom Platz, where you're leaning back on a bench. Oh man, I get that so good right there. That's what Tom Platz says was the squat for biceps back in the 70s. And then you want a stretch move for triceps. You do JM presses or dumbbell skull crushers. You can do it with dumbbells. It's not as good. It's not as easy. It's so much harder. It is so much less efficient. Now, because you guys wanted me in the gym, I got some videos for you. Hopefully I don't load up the wrong ones. Okay, so this is an explanation or a demonstration of the lengthened position of the biceps using a band instead of a cable. Don't use a band, use a cable. So this is like a neutral position for both heads. This is me changing the angle, showing you that I'm hitting both heads. I'm showing it from multiple angles. Notice the about 90 degrees at the bottom, 45 at the top, making it lighter at the top. This is the short head because my arm is internally rotated. And the next video, I'll show you the long head. This is the long head. Same thing, I just had to move the camera. Yes, there's a bed there. There's a long story for that. No, I don't have slaves. That's pretty much it. That's how you train the long head. You've externally rotated the arm more so than neutral. All right, so this is me demonstrating the shortened position of the bicep. First, the long head. It's way too heavy of a band for my body weight. Now this is both heads. And this is, so I cut me off on that one, but this is doing just short head. If you notice, I'm going to do this twice, okay? This is just short head. It really isn't just short head. It's like 75% short head, 25. It's like 60% short head, 40% long head. This is balanced. And this is long head. Now I'm going to show it to you from the other way. This is short head. This is balanced. This is long head. Same thing goes for down low, okay? Coming across your body is short head. Coming right in front is balanced. Coming out is long head. That's it. Now, if you notice, in that video I was doing the stagger stance. I'm going to replay that just for a second so you can see the stagger stance. This is important. Okay, so this is an explanation or a demonstration of the lengthened position of the biceps using a band instead of a cable. Don't use. That was the stagger stance, where one foot is in front of the other foot. That way you're like this with your feet, not like this. You can just fall over, fall forward. You stagger your stance. I know you're thinking like, well, that's common sense. You would not believe how many people know nothing about balance or anything. Like they've never done karate. They have no idea how to stay on their feet. And so anyway, that was important. Good shit. All right. Now as you can see, like if you're doing a cable up high, I was like all over the fucking place. That's why I like this hammer strength machine. This is my favorite way to train the bicep in the shortened position. Right now, the way my body's positioned, I'm getting a little bit more short head. If I was angled out, opening my arm up, I would get more long head like I demonstrated with the cable. With the band, I mean. This is just a different camera angle, but I'm doing the same exact thing. Working the shortened position with this machine. So you probably noticed my butt was going up and down like it's like that machine is made for people taller than me. So I can't sit down and do it. I can basically float there. And if I come all the way open, it's painful in here and in here, unless I rock up a little bit and then I start to contract and then I can do and this is not right. If I was taller, then it would be fine. But if you looked at the angle of the pad, and the angle of the pad doesn't even match up where your hand would end up. It's just a shit design. Precore has another one that's just a flat. It's like a preacher curl, but it's flat and it's better than that hammer strength. The problem is the handle goes down too low, so you're going to hyperextend your elbow and overtrain it. You don't really want, you want to go full extension on the biceps, but not when they're loaded under that much force. All right, now we're going to do some videos on the triceps. Hopefully I did not miss this. This is training the tricep in the lengthened position bilaterally. All right, and somehow I managed to lose that. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is my favorite way to train the tricep in the shortened position. Notice the shortened position for the tricep is the lengthened position for the bicep. And this is me training my triceps in the lengthened position bilateral. So I'll play that again, but I'm going to say what you saw. I had a stagger stance. I had my hand up against the jungle gym to support myself, to brace. I had, you notice, two fancy devices. You probably noticed, and I had a fat grip that's able to hit the bicep better. I feel, not file. That's what I feel, is that you can get the bicep better that way than with a smaller grip. With the triceps, I don't want to squeeze something and get my forearm involved. I like to have a cuff. I don't put the cuff around my wrist because it just slides all over the place. It irritates me. I put it in my hand and it allows me to squeeze the cuff and then extend. But the pressure is here. It's not grip dependent like on ropes. That was the cuff. I'm going to show it to you one more time. Also, the other thing was a Vulcan. It's just a double cuff thing. Rather than coming here with the rope or coming apart, if you notice, if the line of force is between the hands, it starts back here. It's a stretch move. And then when you extend it, it's now a contraction move, at least partially, because the cable in theory is supposed to go in between. So stretch and then turns into a contraction. And I have a staggered stance for that as well. This is my favorite way to train the tricep in the shortened position. Notice the shortened position for the tricep is the lengthened position for the bicep. And this is me training my triceps in the lengthened position bilateral. Yeah, I mean, there's really very little ways for me to explain this any better. Those are the highest SFR movements. They're the simplest, and it's just a flow dynamic. It's like literally the boom, boom. That's it. You don't need anything else. Those are the two most efficient movements. This is the most efficient movement for biceps, is the stretch curl. And then the extension with the cable is the most SFR you can get for triceps. Now, is it the highest RSM? Is it the highest raw stimulus magnitude? No, you can definitely get more stimulus from doing a barbell skull crusher, but as we demonstrated, and as you saw, when I did the skull crusher with the Vulcan, my hands are all over the place. They're not in a fixed bar path like this. Now, one thing you could do is do a French extension, then do a skull, then do a JM press, then do a close grip. I've done that before, a giant set with a light bar, like 45 pounds. That ain't going to fuck up your wrist that bad. So you go boom, boom, boom. It's really more like this because it's fixed. And then down here, boom. That's a really good giant set you can do with a skull crusher. You just extend that skull crusher, the hardest version, the next hardest, the next hardest, and the easiest, which is the press. And remember, we showed that line of force. The thing that makes the jam press special is, I wish I just, we'll use a fork. This is the line of force, right? Right here, where my thumb is pointing. When the cable is coming this way, or when the dumbbell's in my hand, look how great the distance is between the line of force and the elbow. That's the moment arm. When you have that much of a giant moment arm, that's how much extra force is applied to that joint, which is more force on the tricep. So a skull crusher out here isn't nearly as much moment arm as a JM press. So the JM press usually wins when it comes to the longest moment arm. I shot a video of me doing dips. I lost it, but that actually displays a moment arm pretty good. Let me see if I can find it in here. So we'll check back with the dip vid in a little bit, but the dip would be a compound lift you can do. That's kind of, it's like the jam press. It gets a little bit more chest involvement. I use a dip machine. Currently, I'm using the hoist dip machine. The video is uploading. I'll show it to you in a second. That's a tricep movement. The double arm press down. To push down with two arms at the same time, you can either cable crossover. You got one cable over here, one cable over there, and they got to be the close ones. They can't be the far apart ones. It won't line up right. And you can cable crossover like this, and you want the cable to line up with the arm, which it never will. You'd have to be like this, and you will have unstable shoulders because you don't have it tucked in with your serratus or whatever, pecs and lats and serratus. They're not locked in, but if you try to lock it in, it's not going to look right. You'd have to stand too far away, and then the line of force would end up being too much tension at the bottom, and you won't get the lockout. So in my opinion, it's better just to do a cross body, a one arm extension. I think Justin Shire agrees with me about that, and Derek Lunsford. I spoke to Derek Lunsford specifically about that. That yes, Joe Bennett had Terrence doing the double arm, and Hunter was doing the double arm for a while. I think Hunter has switched to single arm. That's that. And then as far as the same thing with the double behind the head, that they'll either do double jam presses, crisscrossing they'll sit in a chair and have their back support and do double jam presses. It's a fucking nightmare to set up. If you don't have a training partner to hand them to you, it's a total bitch. If you have no idea. And yes, will you get more if you're using heavier weights, like doing sets of like 10, you will get much better out of it. But you could just use one arm and lean into a little bit, and you can feel the stretch on the tricep really good when you lean against it. And depending on how you move your elbow, you can change where the tension is. You want to feel the tension here for the stretch. Hold the stretch for a good second or two, and then come out and then come back slow, of course. And you notice in the videos I had slow tempo. I didn't have perfect tempo. It might have been a little fast, but the reps were taking a good 4 seconds, probably. Maybe 5 would be ideal, but it was about 4 seconds. On the contraction moves, I want to hold the contraction for at least a second, maybe 2. On the stretch moves, I want to hold the stretch for maybe 2 seconds. And you want a 2 to 3 second eccentric on every rep. Because it's arms, it's kind of hard to turn something this short of a range of motion into 3 seconds, but it's possible. So I covered, what do I do? So I do dumbbell curls, then hammer curls to get the brachialis before my legs 2 day. Then I do the cable facing and cable facing away on pull 2. And then on pull 1, I do the hammer strength machine up high, and I do the free motion machine where I'm sitting in a chair and doing the curls here. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, didn't you just say not to do that? I'm like, I said not to do that for this one. If you have a machine that you can use where you can sit in a chair and you can cross over and do your pull aparts and you can concentrate on both arms equally, go for it. My shoulder gets a little wonky because my external rotation is different on the left side than is the right. I kind of have to do them differently for that reason, because I have to do my left side like this and rotate my body differently than my right side. My right side's less finicky. When it comes to down here, yes, I can do both biceps bilaterally, assuming the cables line up perfectly so that the cable's against my forearm. If the cable's inside, that's not the proper line of force. If the cable's outside, it's not the proper line of force. You want the cable to line up with your forearms exactly. Just like on the press down, you want the cable to line up with your arm exactly. Just like when you're doing dumbbells, you want the line of force to line up with gravity exactly, so that the fist covers the shoulder, covers, and the elbow, it's all in a straight line. If it's out here, yes, technically that's long head, but I'm not really showing it correctly. It's really what I'm doing is I'm externally rotating the humerus, and it's still in line. And then to get to short head, you're internally rotating the humerus and still in line. Now, a lot of you are thinking like, this is all over the place. It is, because I'm trying to fill in all the details that you don't need to know. What all you really need to know is my very first presentation, which was stand down here, shortened, lengthened, shortened. So bicep, tricep. Up here, shorten bicep, lengthen tricep. So if the cable's up high, you can do tricep, bicep. And then when you bring the cable low, you're now in the stretch. So it's bicep, and then because the cable should be about your butt level, tricep. That's all you really need to know. That I mix it up so that those movements don't get stale. But if I'm programming and I want it to be simple, I would have those 2 bicep movements and 2 tricep movements, and those would be the only things I do until it starts to get stale. Then I'd have to start getting creative. We've covered the dumbbell options, the machine options. In the end, it's that motion that matters and the line of force of that motion. And in the end, it's going to be cables. Now, the barbell, like I said, I demonstrated that first. It just doesn't work. It should work. It doesn't. Preacher, you could preacher 1-arm dumbbell or preacher cable. If you're down here pushing up against something, it's really no different than if you're sitting up and doing it here, that you're just angling over to do it. Doing 2 arms at once, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to do this unless you have really good external rotation, a small arms, small lats, wide clavicles. Then your arms would be able to do this just fine. Girls don't have this problem. Girls are way more flexible because they have less muscle mass pulling them in multiple directions. Now let's see if that video is right. No, it's not happening. I had somebody film my workouts with her iPhone, and that was the videos you saw. And the video editor wouldn't work. So I had to use my Instagram as a video editor, and then I saved it and then didn't post it. So I think compressed the file small enough that where they transferred really quick to my G drive. And then I was able to access my G drive from one of my profiles on this computer, put it on the hard drive, and then I can upload it from the hard drive into this StreamYard. So that's how much work went into those fucking videos. It's not just like I do the exercise, have someone film it, and they can just send it to me and it goes right onto this. And what those professionals that you see, they don't know how to do any of this shit. What they do is they lift weights and somebody with a camera follows them around and films it. And they're the ones who takes the videos and makes the content and edits it and puts the thumbnail and uploads it and all that shit. That's what that guy does for a living, is he follows that bodybuilder or multiple bodybuilders around and he does all their technical shit. I don't have one of those people. I have to do it myself. And I don't know what I'm doing, so I have to learn slowly and painfully. So I'm not able to figure out, when I took this video with my Samsung, I can't seem to get it to upload to my G drive because it's probably too big of a file because it isn't compressed enough. Anyway, I know you didn't need to hear all that, but you heard it anyway. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a lot less organized than the other videos in the series. It's because I'm not able to just demonstrate the correct way to train biceps and triceps. I have to throw a bunch of fucking videos of me in the gym doing it, and it's just super disorganized and super confusing and frustrating. So luckily, we're done with the body parts. I have all this stuff pretty much in my shorts. So if somebody wanted to see what the back training, the shoulder training, the leg training is supposed to look like, that if those exercises that I mentioned aren't in my shorts, they will be in my shorts, because it is so much easier to just shoot the video or have someone else shoot the video and I or her upload it to the short without doing all this stuff, adding it into a StreamYard and then recording it and all that stuff. Now, for your shits and giggles, I got some video of a lateral thing. Yeah, here it is. This is the lateral raise with the cable that I mentioned is my favorite SFR from the other exercise. I mean, other than the machine lateral and the panada, this is the simplest thing that anyone can do at any gym ever. This is one of my 3 favorite ways to train the delt. This is the easiest, that I'm going across my body, working with the delt fiber. As you can see, the middle delt is being contracted and the range of motion is much better than the dumbbell. To simulate this with dumbbells, you'd have to lean over. So if you don't understand, go back and watch the delt video. This basically sums it up. Just I didn't have a staggered stance in that video, but I should have. And I braced my arm on the machine, brought it across, and then out here. And I was able to work the delt through the full range of motion of what the delt's supposed to do. And then from here, it's the same thing. I'm just rotating so you can see it from multiple angles. In order to do that with a dumbbell, you have to bend over to get all the way through the range of motion. I'm gonna bend my arm short so I can not hit this table, but you wouldn't actually lift like this. But you got your hand braced on something like a bench or a chair. You're bent over, and you're doing one arm at a time, like that. Now, if you try to do that upright, boom, I feel a lot of trap. I feel a lot of AC joint. I feel supraspinatus impingement in the AC joint. Right here, I've rotated. So my AC joint is here. My supraspinatus is here. They're not lined up with each other anymore. Now I'm dodging that supraspinatus. So there's no rotator cuff impingement out here. That simple. See you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I got to end this. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and if you want help, you want programming, you want coaching, you want anything from me, just click the link in the description box, set up a consult. I'm there for